Hello and welcome to the Voice of TOD. I'm Tom, and with this video we're going to take a look at the latest news drop on the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. We're over here on EA.com, link in the description below. This came out yesterday. You may not know if you're not following me over on Twitch, that I've been playing through Mass Effect 2 recently. We're going to lead into Mass Effect 3 as well, hopefully this week. But I wanted to remind myself what Mass Effect felt like, played like, looked like, and it does. Talking about 2 because I'm not on 3 yet, and it's been quite a long time since I played 3. It does feel like an older game. It doesn't look terrible at all, and it plays very well. But it does feel a little bit sluggish. The controls aren't quite as responsive as I'd like. And overall, it's still at its core the amazing game that I remember, which is the main thing. And I think also that's what BioWare and the team that are focused on delivering the Legendary Edition are doing right. They're keeping that core untouched. So I do have high hopes for this. I don't think that these changes will be quite as big as at least somebody like me wanted. They're not redoing Mass Effect 1's gameplay. They're just enhancing these games and bringing them into one disc, box, download, whatever. And they're giving you the definitive Mass Effect trilogy with tweaks and changes and updates and improved graphics and all the good stuff that you can expect. But because this is still only on Unreal 3, I'm not expecting this to blow everybody away. But then this is dropped, so I thought we'd take a run at it and see. This is the first time that I'm reading it. I haven't seen any videos on it or anything. All I know is the previous stuff. So this is Mass Effect Legendary Edition gameplay calibrations, rebalancing, tuning and mechanical improvements. All of those things will be very, very nice for this trilogy. Welcome everyone. Ever since we announced Mass Effect Legendary Edition on N7 Day and revealed a first look at it earlier this year, your passion and excitement have blown us away. Today, we'd like to give you more details on what you can expect to see in this remaster. They're calling it a remaster. You'll find the latest information on the Legendary Edition, from gameplay tuning to rebalancing and more. Next week we'll provide an additional look at the remastering process with a strong focus on the visual changes across the trilogy. Are we going to get one of these every week until it launches on May the 14th? There's the box art, the amazing poster. I love it, I think it's great. So let's get into it. Here's what this post contains in order. Combat tuning for Mass Effect. Additional gameplay improvements for the trilogy. The Mako for Mass Effect. Unifying and modernizing the trilogy for all of them. And Galaxy at War rebalancing for Mass Effect 3. Okay. I don't need luck. I have ammo. Combat tuning. Combat in the Mass Effect trilogy has evolved across the series, with each game's experience being different. We wanted to make the experience better across the board, but we don't want to unnecessarily change what our fans have come to love about each game. That's good. That proved a unique challenge, as the first game is quite different from the second and third games in terms of gameplay and combat. Yeah, there was a massive change between 1 and 2. Mass Effect was heavily influenced by traditional RPG mechanics, like the randomnesses of a dice roll and pen and paper stat building. As a result, weapons in Mass Effect often felt less accurate and reliable than the gunplay. I'd say tight gunplay, to be fair, in Mass Effect 2 and 3. It does still feel quite tight, depending on the weapon that you've got. We've heard the consistent feedback that it was pretty frustrating to take a few shots with an assault rifle and suddenly have the reticle enlarge to span a large portion of the screen. So we looked at tuning the mechanics to provide better handling without outright scrapping the spirit of the original games. Look at that picture. Completely redesigned HUD that brings it more in line with 2 and 3. I like that. I really like that. And you've got shield bars for everyone else as well. Medkits in the middle. I like that. That's nice. In the first Mass Effect, accuracy, including reticle bloom and weapon sway, has been tuned across all weapons to allow players to maintain more consistent firepower while still managing their shots' overheat meter. So they're keeping the overheating. That's good. There's a canon reason why the weapons overheat at this point, so that's good. We're also improving the aim down sights ADS camera view to be tighter in combat. Good. So that ADS is more accurate, like the second and third games. Very good. And we've improved the aim assist to provide better precision. Okay, yeah, fair enough. These small behind the scenes changes collectively make combat much snappier, putting more control into the player's hands. Excellent. Abilities have also been rebalanced in the first game. For example, the immunity ability now grants a powerful defensive buff that lasts for a brief period of time, instead of being a small buff that lasts indefinitely. It's like a barrier then, or fortification for Grunt. The following overview lists gameplay changes we made specifically to the first Mass Effect with the goal of bringing it a bit more in line with the rest of the trilogy. Shepard can now sprint out of combat. Good. Melee attacks are now mapped to a button press rather than automatically occur based on proximity to the enemy. That's good. Weapon accuracy and handling has been significantly improved. Reticle bloom is well controlled. Weapon sway removed from sniper rifles. Thank God for that. Jeez, if you've ever used a sniper rifle in Mass Effect, the first one here, without any points in sniping, oh, you'll know how bad that feels. I'm glad that they've removed that. Aiming down sights / tight aim camera view has been improved. Improved aim assist for target acquisition. All relevant enemies now take headshot damage in the first game. That's good. Previously some did not, including humanoid enemies. Ammo mods, anti-organic, anti-synthetic, etc. now drop throughout the whole game. Good. Previously these stopped dropping at higher player levels. I think it was level 7 mods was the last one that you could get for those type. They're also now available to purchase from merchants. All weapons, but they drop, so you shouldn't need to do that. All weapons can now be used by any class without penalty. Excellent! Specializations, the ability to train / upgrade certain weapons, are still class specific. That's fine, that makes sense. But all weapons can now be used by any class. Yes! Perfect. Weapons cool down much faster. Yeah, that's a nice improvement. Medigel usage has been improved, base cooldown reduced, leveling benefits increased, and increased Liara's bonus to cooldowns. Inventory management improvements. Weapons can now be flagged as junk. That sounds minor, but that's pretty good. All junk items can be converted into Omnigel or sold at merchants at once. That's nice. Inventory and stores now have sorting functionality. Yep, like it. Some abilities have been rebalanced, understandable. Weapon powers, i.e. those that are unlocked on each weapon type skill tree, have been improved. The effectiveness / strength is increased, duration reduced in some cases, and heat now resets on power activation. That's all quite nice little buffs and changes. If this is a war, I'll need an army, or a really good team. Additional gameplay improvements. Beyond general gunplay changes, we've made some specific changes to encounters, enemies, and how you engage in combat. We found a few opportunities to bring the first game in line with the second and third games, and we've found some systems across the whole trilogy that needed tuning up, which we've We're talking 10, 11 years since the third game, so there's going to be things that need tweaking. This doesn't look a huge amount, I mean the HUD looks really nice and much sharper. This doesn't look a huge amount different. I mean the faces and the textures and things look better. It's more, the environments have a more 3D effect, they look quite flat in the original Mass Effect. So yeah, I mean I think it looks good. I don't think it looks amazing, but this is just a still shot. But I think it looks good. And I think the biggest change is the lighting. So I'm looking forward to seeing how good this really is. But anyway, back onto the general changes. Without spoiling too much for new players, one example is the boss encounter on Novaria. The boss room has been slightly reworked, keeping it very familiar but making it less cramped. You'll also be much less prone to being thrown around by biotic abilities. I never saw that as a problem, but if they feel they needed to change it, fair enough. Other targeted combat updates we've made include: squad mates can now be commanded independently of each other in the first Mass Effect, the same way you can command them individually in 2 and 3. Some boss fights and enemies in the first game have been tweaked to be fairer for players, but still challenging. I wonder what that means. Cover has been improved across the trilogy. One of my biggest complaints in replaying 2 is that the cover is just slack. It's so hard to actually get into cover, pop out of cover. It's very just sluggish, and it's quite frustrating at times, to be fair. So yeah, any changes to cover is hopefully positive. Additional cover added to some encounters, and entering and exiting cover is now more reliable. Music to my ears. Wonderful. XP has been rebalanced in the first game. They've had to rebalance the XP, interesting. Ammo drops have been rebalanced in Mass Effect 2. Again, details below for both of those, we might have to check those out. With combat comes XP. XP gained during the first game has been rebalanced for better consistency, especially towards the game's end. Players who complete most aspects of the game should be able to more readily get to higher levels on a single playthrough rather than needing to play through a second time to do so. Oh, that's good. Additionally, there's no longer a level cap on the first playthrough. That makes perfect sense. As a final gunplay change, we also tweaked ammunition in Mass Effect 2. We found that ammo was spawning too scarcely in the original game, so we've increased the drop rate of ammo in Mass Effect 2, particularly when using the sniper rifle, since that had a reduced ammo drop rate in the original release. I have to say I've never found ammo a real problem. I've always been able to find some when I've been low, and I've run out once in however many hours of streaming. It's got heart, you know, the Mako. But of course, we've got to talk about the infamous M35 Maker. This legendary vehicle from the first Mass Effect has been calibrated to perform better than ever. In the original game, the physics tuning for the Mako made it feel too light and bouncy, even at times becoming uncontrollable. Very true. But it's now a much smoother ride, while still being lovable like before. Yes, you can still drive off cliffs to your heart's content. Good. The Mako is terrible, but it's probably the best vehicle that they've had in the Mass Effect games, so I love it, and it frustrates me in equal measure, I think. Its functionality has also been improved with faster shield recharging and new thrusters. The thrusters is what I'm more interested in, added to the rear, allowing for a speed boost. Excellent when you're inevitably trying to scale up the side of a near vertical cliff. We all do it, we do. The boost recharge is independent from the jump jets on the vehicle's underside, so you can use both at once or separately. That's a nice touch. That looks different as well. I do like this new HUD, and I mean the colours, everything just seems a little bit brighter. I'm glad that they've given the Mako some love. These are the calibrations you can expect to experience when driving the Mako. Improved handling, physics tuning, improved to feel weightier and slide around less. That's not a bad thing. Improved camera controls, excellent. Resolved issues preventing the Mako from accurately aiming at lower angles. Shields recharge faster. New thrust is added for speed boost, its cooldown is separate from jump jets. XP penalty when in the Mako has been removed, that's good. And touching lava no longer results in instant mission failure, instead deals damage over time. I mean, if you're gonna drive it into lava, you deserve to have a mission failure. We've all done it, I've done it plenty of times myself. But, fair enough. If they felt they needed to make that change, that's fine. Well, what about Shepard? Unifying and modernising the trilogy. This is the juicy bits for us hardcore players. For the Legendary Edition, our goal was to tune up the trilogy and make it more consistent from game to game, while honouring the things that make each unique. For example, we've unified Shepard's customization options in the character creator, and even added some new options like skin tones and hairstyles. Have you added beards? Because beards are key for me now. Being bald, I need to be able to put a beard on my character. Hopefully there's beards. You can use the same character creator code, seen bottom left in the image below, across all 3 games, meaning your Shepard can now have a consistent appearance across the trilogy, or you can choose to change their appearance at the start of each title. That's a nice little touch. The customization options and character appearances have also been improved with updated textures and hair models. So what do you... Oh, you can copy it. Okay, cool. I mean, yeah, the faces look better, there's more detail. The hair... It's not going to be next gen hair, let's put it that way. But more options is great. Makeup and stuff. The scar looks better on the face. Instead of it just being a pixelated line, that looks much better. I'm looking forward to seeing what they've done here. We've also added the Mass Effect Genesis comics by Dark Horse into the base experience before Mass Effect 2 and 3 as an optional experience, so players can make choices from previous games no matter where they start. I see the Mass Effect trilogy as just one continuous thing. The changes between Mass Effect 1 and 2 mean that they are 2 separate games in my head, but 3 is just a big DLC for 2, really. But yeah, that's cool, it gives people more choice, which is always a good thing. Of course, the Legendary Edition includes a variety of additional enhancements. Here are some things you can look forward to. New unified launcher for all 3 games, which is key. Includes trilogy-wide settings for subtitles and languages. Saves are still unique to each game and can be managed independently from each other. Updated character creator options as mentioned above. FemShep from Mass Effect 3 is the new default female option in all 3 games. Original FemShep design is still available as a preset option. That makes perfect sense. Achievements across the trilogy have been updated. New achievements have been added to the trilogy. Progress for some achievements now carries across all 3 games, e.g. kill 250 enemies across all games. More achievements means we're going to have to go achievement hunting, guys. Achievements that were streamlined into one and made redundant were removed. A number of achievements have had their objectives, descriptions and/or names updated. Fair enough. Integrated weapons and armor DLC packs. Weapons and armor DLC packs are now integrated naturally into the game. They're obtainable via research or by purchasing them from merchants as you progress through the game. That's interesting. Rather than being immediately locked at the start, this ensures overall balance and progression across 2 and 3. The Recon HUD and the Cerberus Ajax armor are available from the start of each game. I mean, I don't think I ever used the preset armor stuff. But yeah, I mean, that's good. It's good that they're all in there and you earn them in the game instead of, 20 options right at the start. Additional gameplay and quality of life improvements. Audio is remastered and enhanced across all games. The audio is, having replayed 2, well, I've played 1 and 2 recently. Having replayed 2 on stream, the music is so good in this trilogy. So yeah, remixed audio and enhanced sounds good to me. Hopefully it stays true. Hundreds of legacy bugs from the original releases are fixed. Good, because we've run into a few of those ourselves. And native controller and 21:9 display support on PC with DirectX 11 compatibility. It's nice for you PC gamers. Consider yourself reinstated, Commander. Galaxy at War rebalancing. As Commander Shepard, you're tasked with the hardest mission of all, defeating the Reapers and saving the galaxy from annihilation. This comes to a head in Mass Effect 3 when the galaxy unites. But your choices from across the trilogy lead you there and determine who fights at your side. The Galaxy at War feature puts you at the heart of the Reaper War from the Normandy's CIC, Combat Information Center, which has been rebalanced in the Legendary Edition. For example, galactic readiness is no longer impacted by external factors that aren't part of the collection, like multiplayer or the old companion app for 3. However, that doesn't necessarily mean defeating the Reapers will be easy. I am a little sad that they've taken away multiplayer. Will we be getting a new companion app, do you think? The more content you complete across the entire trilogy, the more likely you'll be prepared for the final fight in its conclusion, which makes sense. If you only play Mass Effect 3, you'll have to do just about every option available in the game to be eligible for an ending that doesn't result in massive galactic losses. Playing the first 2 games and carrying over your progress is the most reliable way to get good results in the final hours of the Reaper War. For comparison, if you previously played 3 with the extended cut, which included galactic readiness rebalancing, fully prepared for the final fight will be more difficult to achieve in the Legendary Edition. And on that note, extended cut ending is now the game's default finale. I have only played Mass Effect 3 once. That's how bad the ending scarred me. I think I may have gone back and loaded up an old save and gone through the extended cut, but for me the game finished at a certain point in the last level, and that was it. So while I'm nervous about playing 3 again before we do this, which I'm going to do, we're going to play 3 next, as I said. I don't know. I have problems with the ending, and I'm a little sad that they haven't tweaked it, but they've clearly made decisions about what they want to be the default ending, and they're going to stick with it, and that's fine. As long as they are sticking to what they believe is the conclusion to the story they wanted to tell them those many years ago, we will all have to accept it, regardless of what choices and options you pick. But the ending it's a sticky note for me. However, readying your intergalactic armies will be a bit easier by a number of critical bug fixes and back-end improvements made to the Paragon Renegade system in Mass Effect 2. We resolved some legacy issues that inhabited accurate reputation stats, really? from being displayed and outright prevented certain dialogue options from being selectable when they should have been. Is that like Conrad thinking that you put a gun in his face when you didn't in 2? Because of this, key moments that have been notoriously difficult to achieve in 2 and impacted 3 can now be completed more reliably, leading to better results in the story's final act. You know, for old time's sake, getting to go back to the roots of the Mass Effect franchise, our roots as a team now celebrating our 25th anniversary, has been an incredibly nostalgic and emotional experience for us, and we're sure a lot of you feel, or will feel, similarly when you get to play the Legendary Edition. We've heard from so many of you that you want a way to play the original trilogy today, either be it for the first time or, let's just say, again. We don't need to keep count. We kind of do. It's a badge of honour at this point. Returning to where it all began, as members of our team revisited the work they did over a decade ago, has been a bit surreal, but it felt like the right thing to do. A passion project from us to thank you for the many years of incredible support, and maybe to help tide you over until the next game too. There's more to come, including a deeper dive into the visual changes we've made, so stay tuned for that, and our friends over at IGN have put together a performance review if you wanted to see more from the remaster too. But we're not going to watch that because I don't know if I can get away with it. I don't know what IGN are like, so if you want to watch it, I'll watch it on my own. If you want to watch it, go check it out. It's at the bottom of the page on the link in the description for you. Also, thanks for requesting this so much that you practically willed it into existence. It's meant a lot. From all of us at the Mass Effect team, good luck, Commander. Alright, so we have another update next week. I just look at that. That HUD looks really nice. I mean, why you'd be using the Avenger at that point? The M7's garbage, mate. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's iconic, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, all of this sounds good. All of this sounds really good, and the idea of me playing this series again on stream was to do it so that people could get a feel of what the originals felt like, but also to remind me, because I've played 2 many times. I've played Mass Effect 1 more than any other game in the world. Even more than Halo. That's how much I've played it. And I don't remember 3 because I played it through once in its entirety and never wanted to go back to it, which is a real shame, and you know, I felt let down by it. But we're going to play 3, we're going to see how it feels, and then hopefully in May we're going to jump right in with Mass Effect in the Legendary Edition. We're going to see how all of this hard work has come together. We're going to see the changes, the better systems, the UI, all the really cool stuff that they've been working on, and the character creator. See what options they've got in there. So I'm really looking forward to this. I think this is a great update. I'm going to keep an eye out for the one next week. We'll do another one of these deep dives and run-throughs. So yeah, stick around, stay tuned, like, subscribe, do all the stuff that as creators we ask you to do, because it all does help the channel hugely, and all your support is very much appreciated. But let me know what you think in the comments. I'd be very interested in how you feel about unifying the trilogy, bringing all the games together, and the little adjustments that they're making, and